My next challenge is to find the king of beans. Everybody knows the king of stationery. Say it with me.
1,
3,
2,
2, 1.
3.
A
A laminator.
And everyone knows the king of nuts, which is a cashew. But nobody really knows the king of beans, as far as I'm aware. There aren't as strong opinions. I know that there is some debate whether it's actually a laminator or if it's a paper cutter, or if it's a cashew, or if it's an almond or macadamia nut. And again, there's no real debate about beans because there's no strong favorite. So today I'm going to find the favorite. I'm going to start. The contenders will be all the beans in this 15 bean soup. Now, I was going to list the names out, but see in the back of it, it says ingredients contains 15 of these varieties, and then it lists 17 different beans. And some of their names are ridiculous. So I think I'm just going to make up my own names for them. And I'm going to start by finding out the ratio of beans. Anyone who's bought mixed nuts knows that if you go cheaper brand mixed nuts, you're getting a lot of peanuts, not as many cashews. I'm sure one of these beans is the peanut of beans, and the only way to find that out is by sorting them. And then doing the same to a store brand mixed beans. Now this, strangely enough, works the exact same way, where the ingredients are 15 of the following 17 beans. I'm not sure if we'll see any difference because they were listed in a different order, as one would expect, and I didn't want to analyze it any closer. So without further ado, let's get to bean counting. White beans, red beans, green beans.
I want to sort them.
All right, I've just started, but it's already kind of interesting and we have some drama. First of all, I'm counting 16 different beans, not the 15 that the ingredients promised, but not the 17 that they implied existed. So it's possible that one of these is a bonus bean. It's possible there's another type of bean in here somewhere. I'm a little bit on the fence as to whether these are different because they're both like red, but clearly they're different, right? This is dotted. Or these are both kind of the same, but they're also kind of different, as you can see. All of these have the same background and the same different, they're just different, right? So I think there's 16 difference, but my brain doesn't really want to do this anymore. So I'm going to get some other hands to do it, and then we'll find out when it's all done how it looks. All right, the sorting has occurred. Now on to the naming. I decided instead of nicknames, I am going to use the official names because there's some controversy. So we'll start with the easy ones. Black bean. Okay, here's how things stand. There were no yellow-eyed beans. These two beans are the same thing. Even though they're clearly different, we're saying they're both cranberry beans. These yellow unsplit peas, we're calling them yellow split peas. 1, 2, 3, 4 different types of white beans, and we have 5 labels for white beans. Impossible to say whether this is a navy or this is a northern or that's a white kidney. It doesn't matter. You know why? Because we're looking for the king of the beans, and the king of the beans is not going to be easily confused with another bean, so all of the white beans currently completely out of the running.
It's 5 kinds, not just 4. And we have 6 labels.
9, it's 4.
We have 5 kind of white ones.
No, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
5, yeah,
And
okay.
we have 6 labels.
Right.
So you did it wrong.
All the white beans are gone. It's up to the remaining to find out. I do want to compare against the other bag. So we are going to do this whole thing again with something new. The eagle-eyed person would have noticed in the last review that there are black-eyed beans in here. So slightly different mix. I also wanted to note that the order they were listed, definitely not in the order quantity, either weight or number. The beans have been sorted, as you do with beans. The bottom row is this Hertz Ham Beans brand. Top row is the Acme Signature Select. Here's the difference. Our lentils, definitely more down here. Lima beans, so much more. Other beans, we appreciated Signature Select only giving either Northern or Kidney, or Northern or Navy, don't know, as opposed to all three of these. Don't even know how to separate those. We got only light red kidney beans up here, and both light red and normal dark kidney beans here. A lot more black beans, a lot more garbanzo beans, cranberry beans down here, black-eyed peas and whole green peas up there. So a little bit of difference there at the end, but overall a pretty similar selection. Now, before I said that the store brand was obviously going to be inferior, I started to doubt that because black beans and garbanzo beans, super good, and we got more of them up there. And that's really the only reason. We then looked up the prices. The most expensive bean is the yellow eye bean, which we did not have any of. They did a switcheroo and pretended that they would have it, but they didn't. Second most expensive was, in fact, cranberry. Not far behind was the lima beans, in which we got significantly more here, so trying to make up for their lack of cranberry. And then everything else was lower. So, is the king the most expensive one? No, because we also looked up the prices of the nut, and the hazelnut is not the most expensive nut.
I was very confused when I said, you say hazelnut. That's why it looks so weird.
And the cashew was cheaper than, I forget the others, but there were a couple that were above cashew. Macadamia and pistachios. So final decision. We're getting rid of all the peas because obviously they're peas. We're getting rid of only these whites because I didn't like separating them. It's obviously not small red. Kidney can't even decide what color it wants to be, so those are gone. Pink beans are my favorite tasting bean, so they're still in. Black beans are super good, but no. Pinto beans look so cool. I think they might be my favorite look. Garbanzo beans, they just can't be the king because they're too good to be the king. They're too easily accessible. And we're getting rid of all this because it's trash. And we're ending with the large lima bean. I'm now going to eat this soup. And I think I'm going to take some of these and add them down here. And as long as they taste as good as I think they taste, we'll have the winner of the king of the bean being the large lima bean. I've been chewing on this lima bean for a minute. I don't really like the way it tastes. I think the king of the beans is the cranberry bean. Final decision. Challenge complete. Another reason why I'm happy about demoting lima beans is they start to unwrap themselves while they're soaking, as it was doing in my mouth, and I don't appreciate that. The other beans aren't doing that. Alright, come on in. Let's look up. The beans are no longer labeled and are a little bit harder to identify. Did they all lose their casings, or? Like how the pinto beans were all colored and the cranberry beans were all colored? I don't see any of that. Final verdict is the cranberry bean was going to be crowned king, but it's nowhere to be seen. Therefore, it doesn't get the crown. Nobody gets the crown. there is no king of the beans. Challenge was a waste of time, but it's at least now complete.